or airplane hangar size, etc. That are huge. So that could be like 700-800 people event. That's if there's tables and in the event. If there's no tables and we do a tent outside for the dinner and lunch, then it might be more like 1,200, 1,500. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was talking kind of those numbers, across the country. This probably, if they have a bar in the center of the 800, and he's saying they may move it for him. And if they do, we can get up to 6,500, maybe 700. But he's talking about 1,200 or more going across the country. So these are going to be great. Like your movie, it's a great reveal, and the stuff that on your shows. I saw some of the stuff you're coming out with. You're right on, brother. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. One thing we want to definitely do with this movie, if I could have my cake and eat it too, Mike, is to try and get as many police officers to watch the movie and the police officers to start digging. We want the police officers to start turning those weapons in the right directions and to start asking some questions, because questions need to be asked and questions need to be answered. Tough questions, not just softball questions. Because at the end of the day, yes, some of them know what they're doing and they're troublemakers, because if you know what you're doing and you know that those ticket money is being traded, meanwhile, you're in the highest divorce rate profession in the world. Okay. A lot of drugs and a lot of alcoholism through the police departments behind the scenes at home, etc. And the highest divorce rates and the highest, trouble at home, etc. So if you're really out there and you know what you're doing and you got those kinds of problems at home and you're causing trouble out in the street, that makes you a troublemaker. Shame on you. But if you don't know and you want to get educated, this is your chance to get educated and start asking the tough questions, because I think, we're going to find out if you're a part of humanity or you're not part of humanity. Talk is cheap, right?
Yeah. And they've already started busting a lot of these cops with the fraud. I've been hearing upwards of 50% of police forces are in jail in some areas now. So we need to educate them. They probably get roped into some sketchy stuff, and everybody's been doing it for a long time, so they're just part of so we need to break them free from
absolutely
that.
Well, you see, Mike, I knew about the straw man for a long time. The only problem is I had a problem connecting the dots because nobody was really explaining it properly. They didn't really take their time, and they were trying to use big college words. All these people that go to college, they learn those 18 fancy words that they scramble around, use over and over again to try and make themselves sound more intelligent than everybody else. And I just dumbed it down. I just took it. I said, you know what? Okay, now I understand it. Now I'm going to dumb it down and I'm going to explain it, Mel Carmine way, right? I put the Carmanism into it so that people could understand it and people could go and start doing the research, because they'll understand it for the first time. I think the movie is going to be very powerful. It's going to be $5.89. It's not going to put you in the poor bank, okay? Because I need to fund the next movie. The next movie is Donald Trump meeting with the generals in a private room, them asking him to run for president, him coming down the escalator with the sign in the background that says money exchange. And I'm going to tie in the XRP and the new financial system into the Q movement, into Donald Trump being part of that movement on both fronts. And we're going to explain the most prolific story in the history of the world. And now, because of artificial intelligence, we can actually make it look like there are actors in the room meeting with Donald Trump. I'm waiting to see this new software that my editors found. They're so excited to show it to me. And I'm excited to look at it, because I never thought I would be an ex-pizza guy being in the motion picture business through artificial intelligence. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's going to have to be like a 17-part movie.
That other little clip?
What's that? Sure, you can show the other one.
Yeah, good. I like this one too. They're both fantastic.
I'm about to tell you a story that is going to absolutely piss off a lot of people in the United States of America. What if everything you've ever known is a lie? Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we've been bamboozled in ways that you can't even imagine. From the creator who dared to question everything in Dear Mr. President comes a revelation so explosive it will shatter your perception of reality. This is the biggest scam ever, and your government, it thinks that you are stupid. And the whole fake system is set up. It's all fake. The straw man, the greatest heist in history. Before your first breath, a covert system claimed you a ghostly double made of paper, a financial slave in a world you can't even see. The straw man. I am not that fucking straw man. That's not me. I am not all cap letters. I am me. They've used your name as currency, trading your life in a game rigged from the start. Basically, when you're born, they put some little ink underneath your feet, and they give you the all caps name on your social security or social slave number, okay? And that's exactly what you are. That is your bond number. Every document, every signature, every debt is an elaborate illusion. You go get a marriage license, it's a bond. You get divorced, it's a bond. You get a driver's license, it's a bond. You get a fishing license, it's a bond. You get a hunting license, it's a bond. You get a ticket, that ticket gets traded. Driver's license, insurance, all of this nonsense. These are all bonds that are being traded in your name, and they're making billions and trillions of dollars. Once you know the truth, you hold the power to choose. The system will fight back. It will try to silence you, erase you. The choice is yours. Yeah, it's truly powerful, Mike. And if people understand exactly how compound interest on top of compound interest on top of compound interest, by the time you're 19, you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. By the time you're born and they ink your feet, and by the time you turn 18, you're already worth. You understand? So this is what's happening. And to be quite frank with you, the reason why we're charging $589, I got a few projects that I need to fund. One of them happens to be something that's going to take social media down to its knees. Why do we need to take social media down to its knees? Why do we need to take the bull by the balls ourselves as podcasters and do what we have to do? Because we made the movie DearMrPresident.net. If you go to DearMrPresident.net, which is a movie about censorship, it's free of charge. Yes, that movie did get to the people that it was supposed to get to, including Donald Trump. I don't know if it caused him to do the executive order that basically says, hey, you can no longer censor podcasters like Michael and Mel Carmine and Nino Rodriguez and company ever again. We have an ironclad, but they're thumbing their nose at the rule of law, and they're still censoring us, including Rumble. Make no mistake about it. I sent a very elaborate email to Rumble. They have yet to reply. Okay? So I got to start tube1776.com. That's coming. Okay. That's another project that's on my table. So give us the money so we can fund these projects. And I promise you, there's never going to be any censorship on Mel Carmine's channel. And I'm going to open it up and I'm going to go partners with all the podcasters. I'm going to make them all rich. You know why? Because I need my soldiers to be well funded. I don't want them scraping. I want them to be able to fight the New World Order and defeat it to the fullest extent.
Beautiful.
You understand? So that we can't wait for Donald Trump to just sign an executive order and expect some magical God to appear from the sky and all of a sudden, boom, it happens. No, it happens when you grab the bull by the balls and say, okay, motherfucker, I'm in charge now. Let's go.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know, maybe I'm wacky, but today with the artificial intelligence and smart kids like my chief editor, Mr. Goodluck, and people that he's running who are incredibly uber smart, why not? I just need the little piece in the back that is in charge of the money, so make sure that you guys get a fair share, a fair cut. So how many times has YouTube and all these social medias went and tweaked the payment system, always in their favor, not in your favor? How many times? I lost count. What if you had a company out there that censors, no censorship at all, with the exception of no bedtime stories to my kids with some testicle fucking people, all right? I don't want no sex on my channel, and I don't want nobody making any death threats. Other than that, you're able to talk about anything you want to talk about. Unlimited. And no more commercials. Gee, what a thought.
Yeah, I love it. All right, brother. How can people find you?
Well, they can go to Mel Carmine Podcast on YouTube. That's my main channel. And then I got like 7 other channels. And if you happen to be in Cape Canaveral, pull the body over and let's put it inside staying alive. Let's charge the body. Your body's exactly like a Tesla car. You know what I mean? A Tesla car can only go for 400 miles, and it's got a pull over. I got to tell you a story about the Tesla car. It's amazing. The Chinese company, BYD or something like that, BYD, I think you know the name of the company. It's an electric car company. They went to an engineer who was an artificial intelligence software and told that artificial intelligence engineer software to create a recipe for a battery that could be charged in under 5 minutes. Well, guess what? They achieved that.
Wow.
They didn't go to an engineer that's a human being that's 100 times stupider than the artificial. The artificial intelligence is right now 100 times smarter than all of us. 100 times, and it's going to go to 1,000, and it's going to go to 2,000, and it's going to go to the point where they're going to be doing operations on bodies, and it's going to get to the point where the artificial intelligence says, "Hey, you guys are in our way. You're stupid. Can you please get out of our way so we can go faster?" Okay. In the next 5 years, 6 years, you're going to think you're living in a science fiction novel. I promise.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming
Thank
on
you,
and sharing your info, and we look forward to sharing more of your stuff in the future. So,
You're awesome. Thank you for inviting me. A big kiss to your beautiful wife.
absolutely. Mwah. Cheers, brother.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, let's get back to David Wilcott. That's, love Mel. He's got some great stuff coming up. He's going to help change the world. Now, David Wilcott, was he helping to change the world? Sure, he did a good job. But what happened to him was it a strategy, right? Which is basically going to turn people off because it's MK Ultra information that they're trying to disconnect you with the reality of this secret space program, guys. Right? So very, very interesting. If you look at some of this stuff, you're going to see the disinformation that's out there, and you guys with good critical thinking, you're going to see right through it right away. All right. Hats off to you guys. You guys have learned over the years not to trust these mofos. All right. So let's go in.
Link between or among any of these cases. However, the mystery is still prompting some fresh questions, like this one from our own Peter Doocy.
Do you think it's possible that some foreign spies could be scooping up our scientists to go build something?
That would be the most likely explanation for a lot of this, and that's not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, there's been activity of foreign countries interfering with or bringing over scientists from other countries.
Let's misdirect, shall we? All right. So, the real culprit is the deep state, guys. So this is who needs to be revealed. And they're going to continually, play these games back and forth. Well, it's probably, some foreign government is stealing our scientists. What about the ones that are being killed? Right? What's happening with that? And so answer all the questions about it. Now, think about it. They're just now coming to this. 11 scientists are missing, probably more at this point. 13. Tracy's telling me 13. I don't know. So anyway. So David was the 13th, and there's a 12th out there floating around out there. I don't know. But now think about it. If 13 Girl Scouts that were selling cookies disappeared and or were killed, you think there'd be like a massive, investigation all over the country? Hell yeah. How about school teachers? 13 school teachers that disappeared. How about 13 housewives that were just sitting at home, just got snatched up? How about, on and on and on. So this is another big red flag. They're just now getting around to this, and they're like speculating that maybe it's foreign spies, right? Such bullshit.
Like we're watching a movie.
That's what this feels like. It feels like we're living out
All right, so let's go with the airhead first.
some sort of sci-fi novel here or movie. We're talking about some of the most advanced scientists tied to national security. So in a large population of people, of course, deaths occur. But when you're talking about this smaller pool of highly specialized individuals in a cluster in such a short period of time, it seems a little bit more unusual. I have to read some of this information from Amy Eskridge, who is one of the scientists who allegedly died of a reported self-inflicted gunshot wound. She was on a podcast in 2020, and she was saying that she was going to disclose she had discovered some anti-gravity propulsion information, and apparently that's widely discussed by UFO researchers who have claimed this advanced technology is what allows alien spacecraft to achieve impossible speeds. So she had discovered this. She was working on this anti-gravity, novel foundational work regarding anti-gravity. She was talking about how she was being targeted both psychologically and physically as well as a result of this. She was worried about her life.
All right. So we all know about this, but she's speaking in a way that this is just so out there, conspiracy theory stuff, right? So discounting this through her, actions and the way she's describing it.
And then, so she hired a British intelligence officer to help her look into some of these threats against her. And then they allege that an unknown suspect fired a directed energy weapon at her, causing burns across her body using powerful microwaves. So when you read that, I mean, it sounds insane. But yes,
All right. So it sounds insane. This is the average person here, right? So they're giving you the perspective of the average person, and they're saying insane. It sounds insane, all right? Like it's not real. Like these people are making this shit up. I can tell you directed energy weapons are real. I've had them directed at me, all right? And we've seen them burn down cities. So we are all on board with this, but here is, Fox News, which is going to MK Ultra a large group of people with the bullshit that you just saw there.
why my face was like that when you had started this show off.
Lovely as always, but shocked.
Yeah, because even just taking into that, what she said on the podcast, it seems insane. But, I don't know. It's pretty crazy stuff. I hope we get to the bottom of it.
Well, and Emily, this is the part that we know that we can talk about via podcasting or reporting. Imagine what we don't know, and that's what the House and the federal government want to get into.
It's such a great point that hopefully...
All right, so we go from uninformed to someone that is informed, evidently. So you're going to get both sides of this.
And this is where sort of my faith lies, that all of the people who have the high level, top secret clearance abilities are working furiously and feverishly to discover exactly what the commonalities are, because all we see is this pattern, or what seems like a pattern. But you're absolutely right that, what they're even working on, we can't even articulate, frankly.
Right.
And right as you said that, I actually recently listened to Sean Ryan podcast.
Yes, I can articulate it, and David Wilcock articulated it. Kerry Cassidy articulated it. This has been going on for decades, right? So now we're getting it to the point where it's breaking into the mainstream media, and they're going to bounce this all over the place and misdirect and confuse and disinfo.
The interview he had with a gentleman named AJ, who was the victim of one of those DEWs, and to hear the immediate and complete total debilitating effects of one of those weapons that China and Russia have admitted having, that it took us forever to sort of admit to, but that lies in this world. It is quite easy, frankly, which is why it's totally horrifying, to debilitate someone in a way that's through a building, and is by targeted lasers and microwaves and things that, again, I can't even understand. So we should be looking at everything, because that is how we narrow down exactly what happened. And at the heart of this are 11 at least family members that lost their loved ones. So my other question is, what are the families saying? And
All right. So you're going to get the misdirection in the mainstream media, guys. So still, we have to do our own homework, our own research, and look at this stuff. Like David Wilcox is dead, right? Like you heard from Mel, he's on it. Good job, Mel. He's like, oh, I'm up there in Colorado, the police there, and put him on the spot. Good job. So, we're going to get any insights, any revelations, any results? No, I promise you, this is going to get bantered back and forth, and it could be for several I say two reasons. One reason is the deep state, All right. They want to continue to hide this information, so they have the dimwits in Fox, talk about it, banter it back and forth, and other broadcasts. CNN, they're all stupid with it right now. So they're doing that, and people are like, sounds stupid. I'm not even going to follow it. All right. That's their intention. They've been doing this for years. They're expert at this. All right. Now, two, it's the white hats. All right. And I saw somebody in the chat said, maybe he's gone to Valhalla, right? So, yeah, maybe with all those other people that are there, right? It's one of those things that happens. I can tell you, I've been in several programs where me and like one or two other people, the only ones that know about this, and completely compartmentalized. Right. And, I will go to my deathbed with this information because disclosing it would be, it would reveal way too much. Right. So that's some of the things, that are out there that has to be protected. And then there's some things out there that we all should know. Right. These, I hate to call them aliens. They're like basically some of them might be our ancestors, that seeded us here. So we have a lot of this information that's already been revealed to us. Those of us that have, like I said, the critical thinking and can look at this stuff, we already know this to a great extent. We're just watching if this stuff gets revealed. Now, to distract people and to make people think twice about revealing this information at this time in this place, because they want to continue to manufacture and control their information and have the technology for themselves, right? And manipulate us with it, right? Like the director is your weapon stuff, right? Total bullshit. So at some point, we get the upper hand, which I think we're pretty much at that point. We being the ones that are awake, aware, and wanting this to reach the rest of the population. But you're going to continue, like I say, to have the Mockingbird media come out and distract us and take us off direction, disinform us, make us feel like we're stupid because we're following conspiracy theories. That's a conspiracy theory about directed energy weapons. Wow. At this point, it's kind of like the 9/11 buildings being hit by aircraft. It's all bullshit. At this point, I think everybody's gotten that. Maybe there's still a few consciously compromised people out there that still believe the false narrative. But at this point, most of us are awake to this. And because of that, we're awake to the knowledge that a lot of this stuff is manipulated. So we question everything, right? Everything. And we don't let these guys get away with their stupidity. Now, Kerry Cassidy, in the past, did an interview with a gentleman called, at the time he was calling himself Bill Wood, right? And eventually he would come out and say his name was Bill Bruckbreiter, right? So I saw his videos, and this was when I was working for the CIA at the time, and I was like, the stuff that he was talking about, he said he was a Navy SEAL. He went into a specialized program where they're sending missiles into villages to blow up innocent people, so that the people of some of these towns would get, very angry with the U.S. and continue the wars. And he said he was part of these, and he got sick of it and decided to break free. So what happened? Well, the military, came after Kerry Cassidy, and she's like, well, you want to take me to court? We'll just expose all this stuff, right? And so, things happen. I'm very observant. I was watching these programs, and I said on social media, this guy seems legit. He talks about some of the stuff in the SEAL program and so forth. That's legit, because I was an instructor and all that kind of stuff. Now, let me give you a little backside on that. So here I was the senior instructor in first phase where the Hell Week is, right? At one time, we noticed they're trying to push through missile techs, kind of like Bill Wood's talking about, right? These were people that were not meeting the standards, and we're trying to, say, okay, you're not meeting the standards, so you're not going to continue. They being the commanding officer and some other people were trying to push them forward. I even had the commanding officer come down to me, and after a bunch of these gentlemen quit that were part of this program, evidently, as we look back on, and he said, we're going to put them back in. And I was like, yes, sir. Well, we made sure that they quit, and they quit good after that. Right? So he didn't have any say. That's the way some of us work, guys. So I've been pushing the envelope for a long time.
What did they say, Quentin?
So we also started to see that in our Hell Week, they were trying to push these guys into a Hell Week class. The guy that was the officer that was running the phase, remember, I'm the senior listed. I'm the gatekeeper, right? Our officer of the phase came up to me and he said, would you mind if we put this boat crew into the class? It was a boat crew full of quitters. So again, as we will find out later, they're all missile techs that they wanted for this special program, right? So I looked at the guys, and the guys are like, hell no. And I was like, no, sir, we're not going to allow those guys to come in. He's like, well, would you mind if they did a Hell Week separate from ours? And I was like, I don't care what you do, as long as they're not in our class. So off they went, and they're all happy with that. Well, there was one time where we had pollution, or so we were told, along the coast, and we did, from Mexico. They didn't have a good treatment plant down there, so they were releasing raw sewage into the ocean, and it was polluting the water and causing some problems. So we couldn't, it had reached a level where we couldn't do our Hell Week. So they flew us out to San Clemente Island to do our Hell Week. And so we're like, yeah, we're flexible. Yep, we're going to do what we need to do. So we went out there and conducted a Hell Week. We come back, and the guys from the SEAL team said, I thought you guys went out to San Clemente to do Hell Week. And we're like, we did. And he said, well, somebody was running a class here. They were running those quitters that were missile techs. Bill Wood, right? So he's disclosing on 9/11 missile that hit the Pentagon. He talked about it. He disclosed how, like I said, they were sending missiles into to continue these wars, blowing innocent people up. And they really came after him. And so there was a pattern that I was seeing. I talk about it. Lo and behold, the CIA really came after me then, right? And I'd been working with the CIA for a long time. I walked on water with the CIA. Everybody wanted me to be in there, wherever they were. All right, I went to all the places where there's lots of violence and bloodshed and all kind of crazy stuff. And everybody wanted me there because I did an unbelievable job as a leader and operator and all kind of stuff. So they started to lean on me, and I was like, oh wow, what is this all about? And I wouldn't figure it out for many years later, right? Like I said, they basically drove me out of the CIA, ruined my life, stole all my money, tried to completely, yes. Becky, you drove by the Pentagon, then you know that was bullshit, what they said about a jet. They never found, they found like this one wing particle, and the engine that they found was
Can we get a book cover called Friendly Fire Investment? And can we have the dong, the dinar, and the zim, and the Indonesia rupiah on the front? Have them standing around, hanging out, and yeah. Can we have the American dollar too in the crowds? Watching in the stands, a whole bunch of American dollars, like dollars, $10, $100, a whole bunch of different bills. Yeah.
or a cruise missile. Hello. So it's in our face. It's in our face. These criminals. All right. They're always trying to do this shit. All right. So what's going to happen in the Middle East? I believe that we're going to put boots on the ground at some point. And that's what's going to be the thing that drives this. Now, how long will that take? I don't think it's going to take that long because we've basically crushed them, Middle Easterners, in every war we've been in. Crushed them, right? And we're better today than we've ever been before, guys, right? Now, what I think is that we'll have special forces, some Marine types, and maybe some other groups, 82nd, I don't know, 101st, maybe some Rangers or whatever, will reach out to certain areas that, just like we saw when we invaded Normandy, there were groups that were there that guided the allies to certain areas so they get better results, they were protected, and so forth. We're probably going to see the same thing in Iran, right? We're going to see people there. We know we're going to see people there that are active, underground type militias and so forth, that are not literally underground, but, as far as like being outward. So underground type, hidden. And they've been active, I think, already, blowing some stuff up here and there and shooting some people that need to be shot. They're going to be helping us take that country, and it'll go down a lot faster than if we're coming into a country that was completely against us, right? So we saw this in Iraq. We saw this in, I don't know, where we just go. Probably going to see it in Cuba, right? And we saw it in where we just like take those people down. That southern area. I want to say Louisiana, but it's not Louisiana. Somebody throw in the chat. Geez, what's that country we just like kicked ass in? Dinar is definitely going to go up. Venezuela. God, thank you so much. Seems I get into these different things. So anyway, Venezuela. Now think about it. Now Trump and team basically just had a 2 million gallon oil tanker that they seized that Iran was shipping to China. Maybe with this taking down the Iranians and holding up the oil running through the Gulf, we're going to kill two birds with one stone, right? So Venezuela was sending cheap oil to China. That stopped, right? And we're doing the same thing in the Gulf. That stopped, right? Maybe they're getting it from Russia. We haven't stopped that yet, but whatever. They're not getting the oil that they need to conduct a war, right? How about that?